We are under attack. What if I told you that somebody knew that finery was going to explode before it even happened? Not just that, he also decided to post it on Twitter. Oh yeah, and there's a lot more, but we'll get into it. It reminds me of the Charlie Kirk scenario, right? Because somehow people knew beforehand, and so much as to even post on Twitter that it was going to happen, just like the refinery. So with this refinery, we already have people saying, oh, it was a normal explosion and it's already covered, everything's fine. If that were true, then how did this man right here know and literally post about it like an hour before it happened? Oh, and by the way, completely unrelated, obviously, right? They changed the enlistment age from 34 to 42. And they're also waiving a whole bunch of stuff from 2019 and 2020 to get people back in the military. I wonder why that could be. And every time the president says it's good or we won or we got it worked out, they start sending bombs right when he says it. So back to the refinery thing, I think it's odd. I've seen like 5 to 10 factory explosions in the United States over the last 2 weeks alone. What's been going on the last 2 weeks? What do you think? Who the crap is this? Something's up, and I'm not talking about all those meteors you're seeing either. What do you...
Patriots, I'm at Restored Republic via a GCR update for Wednesday, March 25th, 2026, compiled by Judy, Byington. Worldwide EBS activation expected sometime Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. Martial law, rolling blackouts, lockdowns, travel restrictions, depending on areas of mass arrest by Global Military Alliance. Congress approved global currency reset for Wednesday, April 1st, 2026, followed by 10 days of communication darkness, bank closures, ATMs not working, prepare by securing food, cash, essentials on hand. Judy, note, the emergency broadcast system was ready to activate, and when it did, the world would enter a new era of financial independence. The cabal's fiat markets will crash, their corrupt banking system goes under, and the truth about Nassar laws, freedom from debt to them, will be exposed. The people of the world will be sovereign based on gold asset-backed currencies, while the cabal will fall on their own fiat currency that was worth nothing. Early Tuesday morning, March 24th, the White House in D.C. was lit up in red, signifying rolling blackouts were happening across the world as the Global Military Alliance were making mass arrests of Satan-worshipping treasonous elites. The Red White House signified that we could expect emergency broadcast system with activation within 24 hours. The military's emergency alert system had already been activated in Ohio, California, Carolina, probably South Carolina, Alaska, Virginia, New York, Arizona, Texas, was about to go live in Florida and Pennsylvania. Look for certain areas of the country that would require emergency lockdowns, travel restrictions, needing a virtual ID to enter businesses, bank closures, and ATMs that won't work. It was advised to stock up on food, cash, and essentials. On February 20th, 2026, the U.S. Congress and President Trump approved the quantum financial system and the primary financial system for the nation, with global activation including release of Nassar funds set for April 1st, 2026. Headlines for Wednesday, March 24th, 2026. U.S. Treasury declared insolvent. And there's the link to reddit.com. Epstein files confirmed that the Democrat Party was behind the between 300,000 and 500,000 children who went missing after being raped and trafficked across the Mexican border. Mind control nanotechnology in RNA vaccines. A leaked 248-page Moderna mRNA vaccine patent document revealed self-assembling injectable nanotechnology designed to be powered and activated by 5G frequencies. Bill Gates were taking genetically modified organisms and were injecting them into little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. My goodness, he's evil. Dr. Peter McCullough. A healthy child born today remains healthier if they take no vaccines whatsoever. Maduro's war on America used drugs, gangs, and terrorist alliances with Hezbollah, FARC, ELN, and Cuban spies to sabotage President Trump's anti-narco operations designed to crush the deadly fentanyl crisis. Used drug cartels to bribe at least 80 U.S. senators and influence Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's strategies, plus developed Smartmatic voting machines to throw U.S. elections, former Venezuelan intelligence chief Hugo El Polo Carvajal. On Monday, March 30th, the emergency broadcast system activated worldwide. Martial law is enforced as the 10 days of darkness set to begin. Emergency broadcast system. The trumpets will sound. Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram. Worldwide humanity will soon experience 7 trumpets. EBS alerts delivered directly to every phone on Earth. These are not ordinary notifications. They are the signal of the final awakening. Each trumpet will call us to tune in to our televisions, to our radios, to receive the truth that has been hidden for centuries. The 10 days of communication darkness. For 10 days, the world will stand still. The internet shut down, ATMs and banks offline, phones restricted to emergency calls only. Although the military will hand out apps that allow cell phones to work normally under the new Starlink satellite system. During these days, 3 times daily, 8-hour documentaries will be broadcast globally. These revelations will be undeniable, exposing mass arrests, military tribunals, election fraud, corruption at the highest levels, and the darkest crimes against humanity. Crimes of pedophilia, trafficking, and manipulation that the elite swore you would never know. But this is not darkness. This is the purge of lies. The quantum light arrives. Through Starlink satellites and quantum computers, secure channels will open. Military-approved apps like Signal will allow communication, encrypted and unbreakable. A new quantum internet will rise beyond the control of cabal corporations. fully protected and incorruptible. Once the 10 days and every device on the planet, phones, TVs, radios, computers, will be reconnected to the quantum grid of light. Every man, woman, and child will be invited here through biometric verification tied to our own body rhythms and frequencies. We will receive Nassara-Jassara payouts, exchange and redeem currencies and Zim bonds, and establish secure quantum bank accounts untouchable by the old system. The corrupt banking cabal will be gone. The people will once again hold the wealth of the world, a new era of justice and freedom. From this moment on, all elections worldwide will operate on the quantum system. Voting will be secure, instant, incorruptible, ending fraud forever. Every voice will count, every vote will stand. Humanity reborn. This is not the end, it is the beginning. The 10 days are not of silence, but of truth flooding the earth. When the trumpets sound, no one will be able to say, I did not know. The veil is falling, the corruption is ending, the future is here. Help hurricane victims. Donations needed for North Carolina hurricane victims. The Republic for the United States of America provided water filters to the worst hit regions. Now those filters need to be replaced since people still don't have running water. A new project in progress is delivering smaller units using drones to the areas that still don't have roads. Please consider a small donation at the following link: members.republicfortheunitedstatesofamerica.org. Donate. What we thought we knew but didn't really know, and now I'm supposed to know, but don't have a clue. With clones, doubles, made-up movies, Hollywood style, and Trump's military alliance throwing more popcorn at us, it gets so confusing. Official word was that early morning, Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. The White Hats took Joe Biden into military custody. We thought the White Hats took him into custody back in December 2020 after raiding his Ukraine property and finding signs of a massive child sex trafficking ring in tunnels that connected to other child trafficking tunnels across the world. They supposedly held a military tribunal and hung him at Gitmo, then buried him during his so-called inauguration. Clones and actors were said to have played him ever since, directed by Obama. Friday, March 28th, King Charles III will die. We thought he was already dead, at least that was reported over a year ago. Monday, March 30th, 2026, Hillary Clinton will be arrested. We thought she already was, underwent a military tribunal and hanged years ago, with doubles and clones representing her in public ever since. Her double from the UK already confessed to that, so don't think they're arresting the double because they already did. Maybe they're arresting the last of Clinton clones. They were malfunctioning anyway. Hoover Information and Intel, Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. 3 meetings took place in the last 72 hours that no camera recorded. Mr. Poole, final chapter on Telegram. The first, a room beneath the Pentagon. No phones, no aides, only 7 men and a decision that will reshape the Middle East before Friday. The second, a private jet. Tail number blocked, departed Zurich at 3:17 a.m., landed at Joint Base Andrews. The passenger has not been seen in public since 2019. You were told he was dead. The third, Camp David, not the official visit the press was briefed on. The other meeting, the one with no guest lists, the one where the new financial architecture was signed into law before the ink on the ceasefire was dry. Trump did not pause the strikes because of diplomacy. He paused them because the mission was already complete. The 5-day window is not for negotiations, it is for extraction. 14 high-value targets are being moved from 6 countries to a single location, a location the public will learn about soon enough. The war you saw on television is ending. The war you were never shown is entering its final phase. The deals are signed, the gold is moved, the names are sealed. All that remains is the announcement, and it will not come from the media. Tuesday, March 24th, shocking 2026 disclosure bombshell. Alex Collier and Gene Decode expose White Hat's obliterating cabal dumbs and shattering satanic black rocks as liberation accelerates. Quantum Financial System on Telegram. In a historic broadcast on the Icons platform, Sarge brought together legendary contactee Alex Collier and elite decoder Gene Decode for revelations that are igniting the Patriot spirit worldwide. These fearless insiders detailed how White Hat forces, allied with benevolent extraterrestrials and inner-Earth civilizations, have now cleared over 90% of the deep underground military bases across the planet in 2026. The Golden Dome artificial superintelligence deploys plasma technology to vaporize satanic lairs instantly, liberating countless children from these hellish facilities and collapsing the cabal's entire hidden empire. Gene Decode revealed that recent Middle East operations targeting supposed nuclear sites actually destroyed ancient domes built around a massive black rock from the Khazarian invaders' destroyed home world. Shattering this evil anchor has unleashed positive energies, ending the engineered wars and hatred that plagued the region for ages. A similar takedown in Alaska during the deep state assaults on the Golden Dome system pulverized another dark rock, triggering historic quakes, but sealing the fate of the matrix of control. These victories are speeding up the fall of globalist Satanists at every level, from elite bankers to Hollywood pedophiles. Alex Collier emphasized ongoing mentoring by Star Alliance groups who are training Earth militaries in advanced technologies and timeline operations. Stargates, once hijacked for dark rituals, now facilitate positive shifts, dismantling soul traps that recycled human consciousness as energy slaves. The Great Awakening surge is unstoppable since the 2012 marker, with military alliances executing the only way to drain the swamp completely. Free quantum energy from the Golden Dome is activating quietly, as seen in strategic outages like Denver Airport, where old nuclear systems switched to clean power grids. The cabal's AI overlords and regressive ET puppets face total exposure. Patriots sense the White Hats fully in command, with full disclosure of our galactic history and inner Earth connections imminent. The pendulum swings violently toward justice, revealing the true enemy while benevolent forces protect the transition. Nothing can stop this storm. The light warriors triumph as America and the world enter a golden age of freedom, prosperity, and spiritual power. The satanic bloodlines crumble daily. Trust the plan and hold the line, for victory is at hand and the best is yet to come.
The Iran-Israel conflict update, I think it was something along that line.
Hey, let me write that down.
And in that, what they took out, that was an ancient underground dome. That used to be Qom in ancient Persia. And so they built that into a facility to create nukes, but underneath that was way deep. I mean, way, way, way deep was a black rock, a giant, huge, super-powered, super magnetic, powerful black rock that came from one of the two homeworlds of the Aristana, in this case the Arista, which are the Khazarians. They came here from the star system Scion after they blew up their homeworlds. And their homeworlds, their planets' hearts were black. They were dark and evil and black. And so that rock, which when it collapsed there, has caused a lot of hate and just wars forever in the Middle East. And so it was way down. What they did is not only took out the dome that was the nuclear facility where they're enriching the uranium, but they did shaped charges going down. As it hits one level, then the next bomb falls through that level that's now open and goes to the next one, and it collapses downwards as like what they say the buildings did on 9/11 Pancake. Of course they didn't. But in this case, it caused a shock wave that collapsed the facility that Khomeini was in at the time, and underneath the facility of Qom, that one where the nuclear facility was, that shockwave came from that nuclear facility underneath the black rock, shattered into powder. And so all of that evil that's been held there and causing wars in the Middle East since it fell is gone. And the other one, its black rock center heart was in Alaska, and when they were trying to get into the Golden Dome, the deep state, in Mount McKinley, it's a black pyramid from one of Earth's black rocks shaped into a pyramid by the Hyperboreans, which is where the Golden Dome AI quantum plasma field energy itself resides. They were trying to get into that for decades and decades and decades, and one of their plans was a 3-scale nuclear attack combined with 2 directed energy weapons, one from Glen Allen and one from Hart, on Mount Hayes. And all the Golden Dome did is routed around it to the black rock that was just a little bit of ways from Anchorage, Alaska. And that caused the Great Alaskan Earthquake, the second largest earthquake in history, which was 9.2. So they shattered that one themselves. So those 2 black rocks have been holding the Earth's energy field in a state of war and conflict and hate and evil. And so it really, really is accelerating the cleanup and the fall of the cabal and the release of all the information and the truth about what's going on, whether you go into Epstein or you go realizing that so many people are Satanists, probably all the elites, all the bankers, the big bankers that own the big stuff, not some teller at a bank. I'm not meaning that. But, that's where we are now. So, it is an amazing time.
Save the Children. Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Laura Loomer is facing major backlash after she met the Dalai Lama in India, who likes to tell little boys to suck his tongue. The Dalai Lama was named at least 169 times in Jeffrey Epstein's emails and met with him several times at his private home. Loomer says she's grateful and will cherish this for the rest of her life. Gitmo TV on Telegram. Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Child traffickers were in charge of all science Robert Maxwell headed the scientific journal system that controlled science for decades. Bill Gates invested $10 million in ResearchGate that has 25 million members. Epstein and Gates decided what research got amplified. Tuesday, March 24th, John Podesta was in charge of a $375 billion EPA slush fund that was meant for climate change. Quantum Financial System on Telegram. Now knowing that climate change is a hoax and that John and Tony Podesta are close to open Satanist Marina Abramovic and attended spirit cooking dinners, which included sperm, blood, and fresh breast milk for satanic ritualistic purposes, and that have pictures of naked children all over their house, and hints of cannibalism with artistic recreations of people murdered by cannibal serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. Where do you think all that money really went? Don't forget that John Podesta and Hillary Clinton's emails were the foundation of Pizzagate, with Obama ordering $65,000 worth of pizza and hot dogs for a private party at the White House, where they were communicating on secret comms. I could go on, but I just digress. You get the point. Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Epstein Files. The Democrats' Child Sex Trafficking Administration did everything it could to make sure you knew nothing about the children. Tens of thousands of little girls trafficked across the U.S. border were found loaded up with birth control pills given to them by their parents because they knew they were being raped repeatedly throughout the journey. After arriving on American soil, between 300,000 and 500,000 children went missing. Fox News was the only media outlet reporting on it at the time. The rest of the mainstream media were in on it.
Did you know that hidden in thousands of leaked emails was a web of coded messages that connected political elites to disturbing rituals? When WikiLeaks released John Podesta's emails, investigators found something chilling. Messages between Democratic leaders mentioned spirit cooking dinners with artist Marina Abramovic. But these weren't normal art events. The emails used strange language. Words like campaigns and projects appeared next to talk of transformative experiences and consciousness programs. It read like spy operations disguised as art shows. When the emails went public, something odd happened. Multiple politicians responded with identical talking points about performance art, word for word, like they had practiced their defense. Cross-checking revealed these same people appeared in Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs and Clinton Foundation records. The same network, the same secret gatherings. The correspondence patterns suggest these weren't casual dinner parties. They looked like initiation rituals. Events designed to compromise powerful people through shared secrets, creating loyalty through shared transgression, hidden networks, coded messages, coordinated cover-ups. Sometimes the most disturbing conspiracies hide in plain sight.
Tuesday, March 24th, sickening. This is how the Biden-Harris child trafficking pipeline delivered 500,000 innocent minors directly to cartels and rapists. Ezra A. Cohen on Telegram. Serious allegations are surfacing about how unaccompanied migrant children have been handled in the U.S., with critics warning that a system meant to protect may have exposed hundreds of thousands to danger. Reports and whistleblower testimonies describe children arriving after extremely high-risk journeys controlled by smuggling networks where abuse and exploitation were widely known risks. Many arrived already in vulnerable condition, raising immediate concerns about what they had experienced before even reaching the border. Well, I think we know. Once inside the U.S., the concerns shifted to the placement system itself. Between 2020 and 2024, hundreds of thousands of minors were processed and released to sponsors. However, critics point to major gaps in vetting, including incomplete background checks, weak identity verification, and cases where children were placed with individuals without clear family ties. Some reports highlight multiple minors assigned to the same address, and red flags that were allegedly overlooked. Whistleblowers describe a system overwhelmed by volume, where speed often took priority over safety. The scale is alarming. Tens of thousands of children reportedly lost contact with authorities after placement. while others were not properly tracked through follow-up processes. In some cases, minors failed to appear for required proceedings, leaving large numbers unaccounted for. Further allegations include cases of labor exploitation, unsafe living conditions, and missed warning signs from hotline reports that were not acted on in time. Authorities have since increased efforts to locate and verify the safety of these children, with thousands already identified, but the full picture remains unclear. The situation is now one of the most serious and debated issues, raising a critical question. How did a system designed to protect become one that may have left so many at risk? Well, I think it's pretty obvious that our country was infiltrated by Marxist pedophiles, and they allowed it to happen. What we think we know as of Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. Tuesday, March 24th, warning for parents as police in Missouri are searching for Barbie dolls packaged with fentanyl by the cartels. Children and their parents have been exposed to the killer drug upon tearing open the packaging. This is exactly why Trump kills narco-terrorists. The Trumpist on Telegram. Wow.
I am sick and tired of reporting on young American girls being killed by illegals from Venezuela.
He allegedly opened fire as the group ran.
18-year-old Sheridan Gorman. She was a first-year student at Loyola University in Chicago. Off to live her life.
Gorman and her friends were walking along the pier to see the skyline and potentially the northern lights.
He shot her as she was running away. There were so many opportunities to prevent this, and the system failed.
DHS says Medina entered the country illegally in 2023.
But the Biden administration released him. He was nabbed again.
Records show he had a misdemeanor charge in 2023 for shoplifting.
And there does not appear to have been any coordination with ICE to let them know Chicago is a sanctuary city. Illinois is sanctuary. They have a policy against doing that. Joe Biden and all the Democrats have blood on their hands. I have to be honest, they don't seem to be that moved by this. Governor Pritzker, no mention of the suspect's immigration status. Quote, the Trump administration needs to stop politicizing heinous tragedies and instead focus on real solutions. Get your fat ass in front of a camera right now and say something empathetic and apologetic about Sheridan Gorman right now. It's even worse when you look down at the mayor.
That suspect would not be in the city, would not be in the country, but for your policies. Will you take this opportunity to apologize?
Well, again, I believe that we're all grieving.
So he won't apologize. But the alderwoman who represents this part of Chicago, Maria Haddon.
This might have been a wrong place, wrong time. Running into a person who had a gun, they might have startled this person.
What is she saying? She may have startled the man? You mean the illegal immigrant who was there with a mask on, who chased her and shot her from behind? What are you saying? How many other daughters have to die? He had no business being here. He should have been part of the dragnet. We should not give up on the other illegals. They all need to go. Whose child will be next?
2009, at least 17 Jewish rabbis were arrested in New Jersey for harvesting and trafficking organs. One of them had been selling kidneys for over 10 years. Project Odin, martial law on Telegram. Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Redacted CIA documents from the Biden administration. They identified motherhood and homemaking as indicators of white, racially and ethnically motivated violent extremism. Are you serious? They don't just hate women, they hate white women specifically. Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. The Democrats, via the Biden-Harris terrorist administration, picked up over 700,000 illegal aliens from all over the world, put them on private jets, and escorted them to cities of their choice at the taxpayers' expense, including luxury hotels, sex change operations, social security numbers, Medicaid, SNAP, and paid airfare, to move them from one Democrat city to another to evade ICE for rape, murder, and pedophilia. Alex Jones on Telegram. Tuesday, March 24th, Donald Trump was right. Director of the FBI Kash Patel confirms, with facts, Nancy Pelosi involved in setting up J6. She made sure there were no National Guard. Nancy Pelosi and her team were busy filming a movie of J6. She later sold it to HBO. Wow. The 250 FBI agents sent to J6 in plain clothes were said to be there for riot control, but a Kash Patel confirms that's a lie. It was an inside job. J6 committee was then created to cover it up. Treason. Dan Bongino on Telegram. Tuesday, March 24th, mind control nanotechnology and RNA vaccines. A leaked 248-page Moderna mRNA vaccine patent document revealed self-assembling injectable nanotechnology designed to be powered and activated by 5G frequencies. It describes self-assembling lipid nanoparticles controlled release mechanisms. QAnon, The Great Awakening on Telegram. Tuesday, March 24th, 2026, 45,800 more votes counted than cast in massive California election fraud case. And that's from GellerReport.com.
Many in our workforce have missed bill payments, received eviction notices, had their cars repossessed and utilities shut off, lost their child care, defaulted on loans, damaged their credit line, and drained their retirement savings. Some are sleeping in their cars, selling their blood and plasma, and taking on second jobs to make ends meet, all while being expected to perform at the highest level when in uniform to protect the traveling public. A transportation security officer at Reagan National Airport recently said, "I just want Congress to pay me for the job I am doing."
Tuesday, March 24th, declassified CIA files from 1965 expose secret U.S. weather control programs detailing chemical seeding of hurricanes and monsoons, including Vietnam War ops leading to today's chemtrail warfare operations. This has DARPA written all over it. Heavy metal poisoning poisons our planet and the population. LBJ declared, "He who controls the weather will control the world," Mr. Poole on Telegram. Tuesday, March 24th, Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller says, ICE asked the illegals they have detained if they were receiving Medicaid. Half said they had been signed up. The illegals that don't have it say they just go to hospitals and it's always 100% free. What we found since President Trump came into office is that the Democrats have set up a system to funnel hundreds of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars to migrants that are in our country, oftentimes from places like Somalia. Gitmo TV on Telegram. Tuesday, March 24th, breaking, it's official. Supreme Court moves to ban mail-in ballots after Election Day. Dems in a panic. Video AMG News. Tuesday, March 24th, boom. Florida bans Sharia law. It's unbelievable that they even have to do that. It's unconstitutional. Ron DeSantis set to sign historic bill defending U.S. Constitution. No foreign law will rule over Florida. AMG News. Tuesday, March 24th, panic in London. Iran folds as Trump cuts London's hidden hand over global oil. The MI6 connection exposed in the real war's financial. AMG News. Tuesday, March 24th, breaking alert. Tucker Carlson sounds alarm after massive explosion at Texas oil refinery. Energy panic erupts as Middle East remains on edge. AMG News. Tuesday, March 24th, military bombshell. Navy whistleblower reveals 973% spike in heart failure after COVID vax mandates. Pilots are breaking down. Video AMG News.
Here, Rhode Island's burning down. Man. No, actually, it's not Rhode Island. That's Nebraska. It's my home state. Crazy enough, you don't hear anything about it, right? Like, largest wildfire in state history. And not a single thing on the news. It's not even on social media. I wonder why. Check this out. Devastating. It's literally half the state. Over almost 1 million acres, almost 900,000 acres burned. Guys, do you guys have any clue how much corn, agriculture, beef comes from the state of Nebraska? It's a lot. And it will make a huge dent and impact on our food supply. More importantly, the heritage, this land, these farmers, these ranchers. Like I said, I'm from Nebraska. It's such a beautiful state. And we got to get the word out, guys. So I don't know what's going on with this, but Coincidentally, you got that big family in Kentucky being offered $26 million for their land for an AI data center. I don't know what's going on, but God's in full control. Let's pray for Nebraska.
Breaking. Explosive report. Venezuela list explodes. Maduro links 60 U.S. senators to multi-million bribe allegations. Full list and documents. A political firestorm has exploded as the Venezuela list links 60 U.S. senators to multi-million bribes from Maduro's narco-terror regime. QAnon patriots are on fire, knowing this exposes the deep state treason and signals the storm is upon us. Hugo L. Paulo Carvajal, the former Venezuelan intelligence chief in U.S. prison after pleading guilty to narco-terrorism, is revealing Maduro's full war on America using drugs, gangs like Tirán de Aragua, and terrorist alliances with Hezbollah, FARC, ELN, and Cuban spies to flood our cities with chaos. He confirmed Smartmatic was built for election fraud by Venezuelan spies, validating Patriots' warnings about rigged elections. The Venezuela list accuses these senators of taking cartel bribes to sabotage President Trump's anti-narco operations and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's strategies. These traitors have American blood on their hands from the deadly fentanyl crisis they enabled. The full list of bribed senators includes prominent traitors like Chuck Schumer D. New York, Mitch McConnell R. Kentucky, Adam Schiff D. California, Elizabeth Warren D. Massachusetts, Bernie Sanders I. Vermont, Cory Booker D. New Jersey, Amy Klobuchar D. Minnesota, Mark Kelly D. Arizona, Lisa Murkowski R. Alaska, Susan Collins R. Maine, Chuck Grassley R. Iowa, Joni Ernst R. Iowa, Mark Warner D. Virginia, Tim Kaine D. Virginia, Patty Murray D. Washington, and dozens more uniparty sellouts exposed at last. Trump and Hegseth have launched a fierce counteroffensive destroying Venezuelan fentanyl routes, seizing the traitors' ill-gotten assets, and launching cyber strikes against Smartmatic's fraud network. The deep state is collapsing as loyal military forces move in. This proves the uniparty sold out America to cartels and globalists. White hats control the plan, tribunals await the criminals, and the Great Awakening explodes as patriots unite. The American Republic is fighting back with Trump leading the final drain of the swamp. Victory belongs to the people, and the storm will cleanse it all.
Tuesday, March 24th, Bill Gates caught red-handed. Epstein files prove he planned the pandemic to depopulate humanity. The emergency broadcast system on Telegram. The Epstein documents have exposed everything. Bill Gates was not just friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He was collaborating on top-secret pandemic simulations and biological defense schemes years before COVID exploded onto the scene. Leaked emails show Gates and Epstein discussing strain pandemic simulation projects in Geneva as far back as 2015. Drafts floating around elite circles outlined global health crises in chilling detail. This was not philanthropy. This was the blueprint for control, mass vaccination, and population reduction. Follow the money and the treason becomes crystal clear. USAID, your tax dollars poured over $4 billion into Gates' Gavi vaccine empire, including another $880 million already handed out over from massive pledges. Meanwhile, the WHO was flooded with more than $700 million in related global health cash. Gates personally seeded Gavi with hundreds of millions from his foundation, turning it into his private global injection network. Then, surprise, surprise, his simulated pandemics start becoming terrifyingly real, while billions keep flowing straight to his accounts. Gates has openly preached depopulation for decades. He funds experimental gene therapies disguised as vaccines through Gavi. He hobnobs with Epstein's pedophile network. The elite engineer fake crises to jab, track, sterilize, and cull the population. While hiding behind public health, Epstein did not kill himself, and Gates is not innocent. He is the mastermind pulling strings from the shadows. The Epstein files are the smoking gun. The USAID billions are the payoff. Bill Gates belongs in prison, not on stage at Davos.
And I think for the purposes of, town hall, somebody in the kitchen? Holy
Election fraud, Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Experts in Georgia's 2020 election found over 96,000 mail-in ballots were recorded as voted, but were never recorded as returned to actually be counted. They also found mail-in ballots received back and counted on the exact same day they were mailed out, the chiffon telegram. Thousands of mail-in ballots were also poured into Detroit's 2020 election with no chain of custody that could not be verified with poll books. These ballots were mixed with other ballots and counted. Most of these ballots turned out to be from deceased voters or voters whose address turned out to be vacant lots and burnt down houses. Election experts ended up discovering astronomical 2020 election fraud with a combination of mail-in ballots and Dominion software. They found that it was very easy to assign a mail-in ballot to a voter through the software. In Dallas, they found over 57,000 votes were tampered with after being received back and recorded by the state. Their analysis found likely fraudulent rejection rates that were extremely low compared to the previous years, yet having a way higher mail-in ballot count, meaning they were passing fraudulent ballots through the system. 2016, 199,356 mail-in ballots, 6.4% rejection rate. 2020, 1,320,154 mail-in ballots with 0.2% rejection rate.
We have lots of phrases that involve two words, the second of which is day. Labor Day, Memorial Day, George Washington's birthday, Independence Day, birthday, and Election Day. And they're all particular days. So if we start with that, if I have nothing more to look at than the phrase Election Day, I think this is the day in which everything is going to take place, or almost everything. And then we have 3 points in time, 1844, 1872, 1914. And we can ask, what would people have thought on those days is meant by this phrase, Election Day? Which of those should we choose? Which of those dates should we choose?
Well, I think you could choose any of the three. I mean, honestly, I think the single best one, if you're just going to choose one, is 1872. And the reason I say that is because 1914 is the latest in time, but that's the one that Congress gave the least thought to.
نظرا لما تمر به المنطقة من أحداث تستدعي وضع بعض القواعد لضمان السلامة التامة للمواطنين والمقيمين، نود لفت انتباهكم لما يلي.
لا داعي للقلق أو الذعر في حال وجود تسربات إشعاعية في الدول المجاورة، حيث أن أغرب مفاعل يبعد عن دولة الكويت أكثر من 240 كيلومتر.
وهذه المسافة في حد ذاتها تقلل جدا من درجة تأثير تلك التسربات الإشعاعية، وذلك لتسقط أغلبها في الطريق قبل الوصول لحدود دولة الكويت.
ولكن لضمان السلامة التامة يجب الالتزام بما يلي: التأكد من أمانك في داخل المنزل وعدم الخروج من المنزل مطلقا، إحكام إغلاق النوافذ والأبواب لعدم دخول تلك الملوثات، الاستماع للأخبار من مصادرها الرسمية وذلك لتلقي باقي الإجراءات في حينه.
Wars, and rumors of wars. Tuesday, March 24th, President Donald J. Trump calls for a pause on all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings. Senator Ron Johnson on Telegram. Tuesday, March 24th, the 5-day pause is not as it seems. The war with Iran is already won. The pause is to get certain assets in place.
I think SoCal might be in some danger. I'm at my house in Laguna Beach right now, and there's full-on emergency, bomb warnings going off. What the Bro, I feel like we're in a futuristic movie, because you can't see speakers anywhere, and the whole city has this whole alarm system going off. All right, this is, I think, all of our signs that we might be in a worse place than we think right now.
There's so much happening in the world right now, and we're seeing it all in plain sight. It's very interesting watching the seasoned professional journalists out there in complete and utter panic that the US is getting its backside kicked at the moment, for the want of a better word. But this is all part of the managed collapse of the US corporation, the United States Corporation, Washington, D.C., a District of Columbia. And it's getting its backside kicked by Iran. And this is all part of the plan. I said to you 4 years ago, the final curtain would be that Iran will take out Israel. Well, the US corporation got involved with Israel because Israel had control over the corporation, not over America, it's the US corporation. It's important that you define the difference. And the dismantling of the US corporation is being managed by Donald Trump from the inside out. Some of you can't understand that because he looks to be like best friends with Netanyahu and doing this, that, and the other. This is how you dismantle an old system from the inside out. And that's what's going on right now. And it's being done very successfully. So don't panic. The US corporation is being dismantled. Drew.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, everyone. Russia has signed an agreement with Vietnam to build the country's first nuclear power plant. The deal is seen as a major step in Vietnam's effort to meet rising energy demands while reducing reliance on fossil fuel. For Moscow, it strengthens its presence in Southeast Asia's energy sector. Further details are yet to be confirmed.
Well, this is also a little bit of a smack in the face for the US. The US was at war with Vietnam for 10 years, didn't achieve anything. And now they're developing a nuclear power with the help of Russia. It's a bit of a smack in the face for the US corporation. Drew.
Next up, a reminder on March the 28th, the word is out there that King Charles will kick the bucket. And on March the 30th, 2026, Hillary Clinton will be arrested.
Allegedly. It'll be very interesting to see. We've had to be cautious over the time, over the years with putting out dates, but these dates have been put out there in front of us. And our job is just to put it in front of you. And we'll wait and see what happens, won't we? Because we know what happened in real life. Now we're watching the movie. And the one thing that they try to do is if we put out what's going to happen and when it's going to happen, they try and change the script to try and prove us wrong. But we're in a very, very interesting time. This is all coming because it's already happened. We know it's already happened, and there are many other people who now know it's already happened. But we're waiting to see it play out for the world to see, for the non-believers to see. And it's going to be a big, big pill for a lot of people to swallow. That, I don't like to say it, but we were right. We were right about it all. The only thing we got wrong was the time frame. We thought it was going to be quicker. And in hindsight, we can look back now and say it needed to be this amount of time. It was not down to Charlie's time. It was down to God's time.